Hello, beautiful viewers. Dom's author of the cosmos. Prepare to indulge in experiencing sheer bliss, because today another riveting, captivating, stellar unboxing video is about to be brought to fruition. What items will I be unboxing? What items will I be opening? Without further delay, without further procrastination, let's allow the unboxing to commence. What items are encompassed inside this tangible, bulky box that I'm too feeble to lift? Let's find out. I'm going to demystify that answer to that inquiry right here, right now. I'm going to render the contents of the box transparent. Bear with me. It will only take me billions of picoseconds to unbox these items. I'm going to utilize this nifty pair of scissors to penetrate through the packaging. I'm going to render an aperture in the packaging. Perhaps this is an inefficacious way to open the box. I shouldn't resort to utilizing a pair of scissors to penetrate through the packaging if I do not need to. Perhaps it would be more efficacious if I utilize my hands to decimate the packaging. This is going to be savage. Bear with me. Alrighty. The items are obscured by the box. However, I will extract them and render them transparent for you to feast your eyes on. The first item we have is an action figure. He's a hunk of plastic. What is his moniker? Is he considered the ultimate daimyo or something like that? I'm not well acclimated with his name nor his lore. I believe he was a host of the Battle Nexus tournament. I recollect that he is the father of the Ultimate Ninja. He doesn't appear to be marred with scratches. He's in decent condition. His integrity hasn't been compromised. Is this action figure impeccable? No. He lacks articulation in the knee joints. He has relatively few points of articulation. He cannot hold a candle to the Marvel Legends action figures produced by Toy Biz amid the early 2000s, prior to the advent of Hasbro acquiring the license to produce their own Marvel Legends. I do like this action figure. He does appease me. We have newspaper. We have Donatello wielding roller skating gear, apparently. Who knows? This action figure does not really appeal to me. I'm not interested in procuring variants of the Turtles. If these items are going on the floor, they can fall if they're on the table, especially if they're leaning against the edge. That's a liability. We have the helmet for him. We have Donatello wielding a spear in conjunction with battle armor. This is a Battle Nexus version of Donatello. His armor can be removed. This is not a bad action figure per se. Is he a paradigm of perfection? Is he the embodiment of resounding perfection? I believe he is. I would rate him a 10 out of 10 if I had to inform you of my thoughts about this action figure in the form of a quantitative score. Why? I'm an avid devout TMNT fan. I love the fact that his armor can be removed. He seemingly has ample points of articulation. He has taken arms. He comes equipped with an armament. He can pummel his adversaries to death. He can impale them. He can beat them to a bloody pulp. He can trounce them. This is not a abysmal figurine. Is he egregious? Of course not. This action figure denotes resounding perfection, no facets. Can he perform the ankle pivot? Unfortunately not. Does he have any finger joint articulation? No. But for under $10, this action figure warranted the asking price. We have Michelangelo equipped with Battle Nexus armor. I'm unsure if he wore this particular armor in the series. Perhaps he did not. However, just like a champion, he wields armor. It's utilized to safeguard his body. They wanted to embellish this figure. They wanted to adorn this figure. Playmates Toys was able to churn out stupendous, sublime, divine, prodigious action figures. Even though I typically prefer to abstain from purchasing variants of figurines I already possess, in this particular scenario, had I already possessed a Michelangelo and stumbled upon this particular figurine amid the early 2000s, I would have likely opted to purchase a second Michelangelo, just because he looks so glorious in the armor. I love his aesthetics, I love his paint applications, I love his shadings, I love his textures, I love his hues. They contrast well with one another. His plastic is seemingly filled in throughout his body, unlike the 2012 TMNT action figures that are devoid of plastic in certain areas. With the caveat of his peg holes, he has plastic throughout his whole entire body. So I rate that action figure to be a 10 out of 10. Would I confer a 10 out of 10 rating to the next action figure? Let's find out. I have elicited Leonardo. I'm not very fond of this figurine. He wields a baseball mitt, or a mitten, or a glove. Would you deem this to be a gauntlet? It probably is not considered a gauntlet, but who knows? Maybe it's missing some of its accessories that would augment it and embellish it. I'm not very appeased by this figurine. I'm not content with his skull. His appearance is unusual. Is this a novel figurine? Not really. He just reproduced version of Leonardo with some gimmicks or some tweaks. His attire is disparate in stark contrast to the traditional Leonardo. However, just because he has different attire and just because he has a baseball mitten equipped does not mean that he warrants an asking price of under $10. I need to expedite this video, so I'm going to stop harping on negativity. I'm just going to show these action figures without getting too much into depth about each particular figurine. We have another Michelangelo. His shoulder guards can be ascended or descended. Not really a spectacular figurine relative to other figurines. We have a Dark Assassin from the Battle Nexus. His hands are comprised of rubber. Actually, I revoke my previous statement. His hands are comprised of plastic. His arms are comprised of rubber. Playmates toys cut costs in a multitude of ways amid producing this item. He can be attached to the wall, presuming he can stick to the window. However, they compromise the integrity of this item by utilizing rubber as opposed to plastic. Is plastic more durable? It most likely is. This plastic is likely non-biodegradable. This rubber material seems to be more vulnerable to getting damaged. So, take care of these action figures. We have the Shredder. This may be considered a clone of the Shredder, or a variant of the Shredder, or a mutation of the Shredder, who knows. He's wielding 4 blades. He seemingly has a paint chipping on his leg. It's not the end of the world, but it does agitate me and infuriates me. However, it's out of my control. What transpired in the past cannot be remedied in the future. I'm not going to resort to buying another version of this particular figurine just so that I can have it in mint condition in the short haul, because all open action figures are susceptible to getting ravaged over time. Perhaps nearly everything in this cause and effect universe is preordained to disintegrate. But we will see if this action figure can sustain his current condition. He may not be in mint condition, but that does not correlate with him being significantly damaged. I prefer if I could acquire figurines in pristine condition, but it's not affordable when you purchase them via eBay on the secondhand market, since they're no longer sold in retail stores. These action figures were produced a decade to a decade and a half ago. You have the General of the Federation. He cannot rotate his ankles. His articulation is abysmal in all aspects. Am I gratified with this figurine? Am I content about purchasing this figurine? I am, since I didn't have to pay over $10 to acquire this particular figurine. But if I did, then my sentiments associated with purchasing that figurine would be disparate. I believe this is Han, the leader of the Red Dragons. He's a henchman of the Shredder. He's quite an extraordinary character. He's masculine. He's vitriolic. He's spiteful. He's intimidating. He's sadistic. Why would those qualities render him extraordinary? They wouldn't. Is he the antithesis of extraordinary? In certain facets, he is. However, appearance-wise, he's quite a phenomenal figure. Why? He has physical prowess. His body is bulky. He's a sturdy figurine. His limbs are not loose. His appendages are not marred with scratches. While I do not support this action figure's convictions, or Han's convictions, in the TMNT series, that sounded dreadful. Let me revamp that. While I do not support his intentions in the TMNT series, I do like his appearance from an aesthetic perspective. So in the context of aesthetics, he's an extraordinary figure. However, in the context of personal motives and convictions, he's a heinous character. We have another Michelangelo. He can wield nunchucks. They're attached to his belt buckle. You have the autonomy to remove them if you so choose to. Those were most of the TMNT action figures that I received amid purchasing them via eBay. I still have more to unbox. I still have more to flaunt. However, I need to take a quick hiatus. I need to intake more nourishment. I'm going to reconvene the unboxing in another video. So the second part of this glorious unboxing will be relegated to another video. I hope that you found the first part of my unboxing of the TMNT action figure lot to be enthralling and insightful. Have a wonderful, marvelous day. Goodbye.